Listening to, I'm going to that bit otherwise I'm fighting the band. You're listening to Rouser Radio out of Lewes, East Sussex, broadcasting from the White Hart Hotel, right in the middle of town. It's the 22nd of June, Wednesday, and it's the year 2022. Yes, indeed it is. And it is 7:31. And my weather forecast says we're in for about 24 degrees today, with the beautiful Shannon, who mans the front desk of the White Hart at this hour of the morning, came by just a moment ago and said, "Oh, it's wonderful, it's going to be 26, 27 today." So, whatever, it's going to be hot. So this is Rouser Radio out of Lewes. Welcome to a wonderful day, a really sunny day. Boomity boomity boom. And gloom and doom on the newspaper front, I'm afraid. But other than that, and it is nice actually to see people smiling. I even saw some people actually talking to one another yesterday, which is quite remarkable. Because that's a feature of our lives that seems to have disappeared with lockdown. Later on at 8:30, we have this morning the co-hosts for our television service, Mirador Television, and Break an Egg is Max Hurd and his buddy, my nemesis, is Stuart Dolby. And they will be looking very carefully at the energy situation and where we stand with that and what it's going to mean to the pocketbook. And that is along with other things that they want to capture, of course. It's my duty, my absolute duty, to look at the newspaper headlines. So let's start off with the Times. Johnson ready for strike stalemate to last months. The fallout following the first day of the biggest rail strike in decades leads many of Wednesday's front pages. The Times reports that the Prime Minister is ready for a strike stalemate to last months, believing the government must win its battle with rail unions, and Johnson fears that giving in to wage demands would lead to 1970s-style inflation, while the RMT union says it is prepared for a wall, it's prepared for a war of attrition. Oh, right. Girding their loins for battle. Going to be an interesting one, I think. The Mirror. Network Rail Chief Andrew Haynes earns 20 times the wage of train guard Dave King. And across Britain, bosses get richer as workers graft harder, but get poorer. It's time to level up. Well, as good socialists cry, the boss of Network Rail, according to the Mirror, earns 20 times that which a train guard earns, and one guard, used as an example, earns 30,000. And it says that he wants fair pay. Also, the Mirror says Grant Shapps refused to meet with unions over the dispute again yesterday. The Financial Times. Rail union resists as bosses offer a 3% pay rise for 2,000 job cuts. So the negotiation has begun, and that seems to be the opening stance, 3% against 2,000 job cuts. But the union ain't having any of it. They're looking for 7%. So where it'll end up, I don't know. What about 5? Um, yeah, the Financial Times reports that rail bosses have called on unions to agree to almost 2,000 job cuts. The paper quotes the Prime Minister as saying the rail sector must modernise or go bust. The RMT and rail companies will be resuming talks on Wednesday. Wednesday being today. Ah, right, okay. The Daily Express it actually asks a very key question: is hatred of Boris? Hatred of Boris. Is this what it's all about? Daily Express raises that question, hatred of Boris, and has motivated the rail strike in its front page headlines, noting that the leader of the RMT blamed the Prime Minister for the damaging dispute between unions and the government. The paper accuses Mick Lynch of leading a class war revenge, after he criticised Boris Johnson and blamed old Etonians speaking Latin and Greek for the strike action. I didn't know old Etonians who spoke Latin and Greek. The Daily Mail. Millions of ordinary Britons suffer in rail strike now. Labour isn't working. And the paper says at least 25 Labour MPs ignored a warning from the party's leadership not to join strikers at picket lines on Tuesday, that's yesterday. The Mail says a picture of Labour MPs at Victoria Station in London. The paper's headline says Labour isn't working, accusing party leader Sir Keir Starmer of hiding away from the issue. Oh dear, it's all starting, isn't it? He said, they said, we said, what said, who said what? Oh, never mind. UK's new strike-breaking laws won't fix the crisis. A plan by the government to break the rail strikes in Britain is in doubt. The I says it understands a change in the law would take about 6 months to get through Parliament. But ministers are determined to continue to limit strike action in the future. The Daily Star, God bless it, what does the Daily Star say today? They think it's all Uber. It is now. The good old Star. Its MPs were told to get cabs or stay in a hotel to avoid the chaos caused by the rail strike. The Star says they think it's all Uber. It is now, says the paper's headline. But MPs have been told apparently also use your expenses to stay in these things, which most of us can't do. Once again, those are the things that rub me the wrong way. The Sun, that's nuts. Class war. The class war is the Sun's headline, noting that teachers have now threatened to strike. The paper reports that the National Education Union has told Number 10 it wants a 12% rise for members by September. Oh, sure. The Guardian. A Tory bill accused of fatally weakening human rights. Well, we can expect some sort of strange reaction to the Guardian. And what does it say? The government will set out plans to continue with its Rwanda asylum plan after it is blocked by Europe's Human Rights Court. The paper says the repeal of the Human Rights Act, which the government described as a restatement of Britain's sovereignty, includes reducing the influence of the European Court of Human Rights. NHS diversity schemes are pointless, the Daily Telegraph. a double-digit rise for state pension and benefits. Yeah, they say that pensions and benefits are set to rise in line with double-digit inflation. The government is telling rail workers to accept cuts. It says the Treasury is going to go along with the original agreement on pensions, which would give a nice healthy rise in line with inflation. Metro, Ghost Train Britain, Gold Age Pensions. The Gold Age Pensions declares the Metro, which notes the rise was promised on the same day the government encouraged restraint from rail workers who walked out over offered 3% pay rise. Treasury Minister Simon Clarke confirmed pensioners are set for a rise that matches inflation. Well, there we are. Oh, what a whole load of things. Oh, dear, 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 dear. Let's steady ourselves up. Here we go. Ben Sound Ukulele. Well, that is always, I think, a nice little ditty to get us sorted in the morning. Oh, yes, indeed. And what I'm doing at the moment is seeing whether we can actually pop ourselves up on um, telly to while we're broadcasting. Let's see. Well, we got a little ticker, and what we need now is that, and we can should be able to go live. Why not go live? And you can see us at work in the White Hart in Lewis, and we say good morning again to you. Oh, there we are. You are on the air, so anybody who's floating around on Facebook and other social media can see us hard at work on Rouser Radio. So we've actually looked now at the front pages of the newspapers. It is 7:45 at the 22nd of June. Yes, the 6th in the year 2022, and we are Rouser Radio, broadcasting from the White Hart Hotel. Wonderful people here. You get a great big grin from the ladies. This morning it's Shannon, and she's brought me my coffee. I mustn't forget to drink my coffee. I love coffee. I love tea. Ah, la la la, la for me. I can't remember the exact words of that, but that was a favourite. Is many years ago, many years ago, I may say. It's funny how things come back to you, which shouldn't really. But I can remember being at university in British Columbia, the University of British Columbia, a very fine university it is today. In those days, it wasn't quite as well known what it took me. Is and one of my friends was a guy called Bunny Gilchrist, and that was his favourite song. I love coffee, I love tea. Why would I remember that? I have no idea. But mainly because I think I'm going to have my cup of coffee. And mm, oh, very welcome it is too. Very, very welcome. Ah, yes. It's like that ad for Bisto, where the aroma of Bisto floats across the room, and Betty Bisto, or whatever her name is, uh, Betty Bisto, she smells it. Ah, Bisto. I haven't seen that one for a long time, but it was very popular in its day. Right, where are we? We're at 7:48. Better put our specs on to look at that. At 7:48 on Wednesday morning, and outside it is going to reach the official version is about 24. But Shannon tells me that not from her knowledge, we're going to reach 26 or 27 as the day goes by, and the breeze is only very light. So that's where we stand with that. I've just been through the newspaper front pages, but let's just take a quick look at the back pages. Um, that Stokes, our English captain, is unwell, and he misses practice. And now Root is willing to step in, but Stokes has led the team to a series win, and he's got us really fired up after us being absolutely battered from people pillar to post. Um, now, apparently, Rudicano, the lady who is our great hope, um, and she had a panic attack at Wimbledon. But now it says Murray is a serious contender to win his third title. Wow. It's yes. I mean, she is young. Emma, I think, isn't it? Emma Raducanu. Uh, and the pressure must be intolerable. Here she was, 654th or something in the world, and she won the American Open or whatever it was that she won. And suddenly, of course, she's right in the spotlight, and the expectations are actually enormous. And I'm not a bit surprised that she's having panic attacks. let her alone for a little while. Giving Eddie the keys to Twickenham holds England back in so many ways. Oh dear, 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 dear. Clive Woodward is having a go at Eddie Jones, uh, and he has never been a great fan of Jones. But Danny Kerr, who was dropped, is now back in the frame, and so it would seem that the that there is a lot of controversy in the rugby world down at Twickenham. What's spicy sibling rivalry firing the Overtons? They could be the first twins to play a test for England, but there have been bumps and bruises along the way. Well, that's interesting. Backdrop of Bile as Headingley plays host. The joy of six. Liam loves battle with Butler to hit most maximums. And Essex back in hot water over chief spat with a fan. Right. And England stars still right to be in prison, says. Who is it that was in prison? Alan Stanford's his $20 million showdown that shamed cricket. Don't remember that much, so kind of shamed it that much. But anyway, I'd drink so much I'd black out. Next morning I'd ride out still drunk. That's champion jockey Ocean Murphy, tagged as racing's bad boy. It doesn't matter. He's sitting at the top of the riders list. So does he care? No, not a bit of it. And let's see. Chelsea duo to miss out on millions. Page in line for long-term deal. Maguire said to stay, but could lose captaincy. It's all good gossip stuff. Most of it's not true. But then football and rumour have always gone hand in hand. Okay, as millions of ordinary Britons suffer in the rail strike mayhem, 25 left-wing MPs defy their party by joining the picket lines. And where was Sir Keir? Hiding away all day like a coward. That's what the Daily Mail says. And they ain't happy with Labour in Labour's stance so far in this dispute. And it looks as if it's going to be a dispute too, because the union is saying they're going to hang on until they get what they want, and Boris is saying over my dead body, and they'll have to go over it, which means some sort of war of attrition. So it could be that trains are going to be a miserable way to travel for quite some months to come. The trying to get around anyway is a nightmare. Really is. The metro, ghost train in Britain. Um, it, uh, it shows that the trains are just one or two people catching the train, and only one or two trains turning up to be caught. But the metro does actually go on to gold age pensions, and what it's saying is that the government is now going to honour its triple lock system, and that is that since the criteria have been met, that they will honour their pledge to raise pensions for the elderly. No, I can't say that I'm against that because I would be a beneficiary, but it ain't half going to cost a lot of money again. And one of the things that this government is doing is it's splashing the cash. And is it right to do so? Is it right, presumably on the belief that if it can keep the economy going, is the taxes and other revenue coming in from um, economic activity will outdo what's happening at the moment. and that they'll be okay. It's difficult to say, difficult to tell. Anyway, those are the headlines and the front pages. What shall we do now? Because it's our duty to do so. Uh, um, oh, there's there's my favourite about a party. Something else. Let's see. A kind of a party by the Mini Vandals. That's one of my favourites. Let's play that. sure whether you got that last bit of superb repartee because I didn't switch the microphone on. That happens all the time, I'm afraid. It's a bit early in the morning, and you forget these things sometimes. And if you think I've got my mouth full, I have. I'm eating the last bit of my biscuit, which comes with my cup of coffee. The lovely Shannon brings me coffee, and she brings me a biscuit. And it's a lovely way to meet the day. Anyway, that was Breeze from Telecasted. Some of this stuff is not bad, actually. What do you think of it? Yes, right, okay. Thank you for your approval. A crowd outside, hammering at the door just to get in, just to have a cheery wave from me as a like hell. If you really want to know about the loneliness of the long distance runner, try the loneliness of the good morning DJ, particularly on a little radio station that is only just beginning to make its mark. Believe me, loneliness can be a really bad scene. All right, we're almost at the end of our little toggle this morning. It is 10 minutes past 8, and the date is the 22nd. The day is Wednesday. I'm not pulling any demanios at all in getting it wrong. I'm getting it absolutely right. We go to our television service in a few minutes with Max Hurd and Stuart Downey. Stuart Dolby. Oh, Domanio, you are, God bless you, you're still in my spirit. For those who don't know who Jack Domanio was, he was a 1960s, 1970s DJ for the BBC, and he got everything wrong. He always got everything wrong. He gave the wrong time, the wrong day, the wrong temperature, absolutely everything. And nobody to this day knows whether he did it deliberately or it was one of those poor unfortunates that kept on making mistakes. But he was loved for it. Is Jack Domanio. May he rest in peace. In fact, I don't know whether he's still alive. My guess is not. But he certainly made his mark in those golden days of yesteryear, when radio was radio and not just a filler the way that we're using it today. All right, the uh, train strike is hitting hard. The strange thing is that the buses are full. The roads have got more cars on it. When you come out first thing in the morning, and you get used to what's happening, and then suddenly it all alters. And there is a driver, is the driver of what's happening at the moment with cars and people and so on is the rail strike, pure and simple. It is pushing people into doing things in a very different way. Okay, it's almost time for us to say toodle pip. But just a reminder that it is going to be very hot today. If you are going out and having picnics and so on, make sure that you've got plenty of colour. Make sure you've got plenty of cream. This cream that you rub on yourself, that in theory is supposed to keep you from burning. I don't know that it always works, so be careful about that as well. And I'm not sure that we may not fry ourselves in the effort. Just to finish what I was saying, Suzanne Mouchot joins me on a Monday. On a Tuesday, it's Fergus Wood with wine. On a Wednesday, we have Max and Stuart, and they do their own thing, but mostly it is energy and a view from an 18-year-old, a 17, 18-year-old. And that's very important that we get that in the mix, so we know what young people are thinking about what's happening in the world. Then on Thursday we have Jane Watkins from Hastings, and she joins me and keeps us up to date what's happening in the extremities of the county. County, oh, got hiccups again. And then on Friday, we are just negotiating, and I think that Max has probably been talking to her, is Sarah Fitch Hayes, our artist, who is really, she's extremely talented artist, but she's good fun. She is funny and lively and very great pleasure to have on. Oh, he's here. He's here.
What's you going to say? Your boy here.
Is
he could say something else.
He says, yeah, it's the old boy. I said, well, there's a wheelchair out there, isn't it?
Well, I have to say that yesterday I was actually looking at, I was flipping through the internet or something, and I came across this. You can get a motorized scooter for next to nothing. And of course, when I tapped into it, is next to nothing is nowhere to be found. Is they tell you how many thousands of pounds these motorized scooters. I shall continue to try and walk. Oh dear! It's 8:15. Time for us to wrap up. Give the boys time to establish themselves, and she gets better with time. Somebody on Twitter has said. Whether they mean us or not, I have no idea. I do not understand these things.
No.
Never mind. Here we go with what we normally have is a band sound buddy to say cheerio. And cheerio until tomorrow morning from Rouser Radio. And I leave you soon in the tender hands, God help you, of Max and Stuart.
You should be so lucky, you old fool. Anyway, look, I've won 2 things today.
Hang on, we have to play ourselves out on this, and then we can talk. Right, yeah. Just one thing, Stuart. A couple of comments that we didn't get you on camera when you were making, and apparently a voice off in the distance irritates him. So will you make sure, Max, will you make sure whenever Stuart is here, you've got him on camera? Yeah. So how are you, man? Oh, look, God, he's dressed as if he's going on safari. Yeah.
Into clips, because if the BFI player